All right, welcome back. Today we're diving into something every single screenwriter goes through. It's this really intense, sometimes tough journey, The one that happens right between you, the story you're pouring your heart into, and the audience you hope will one day see it.
So let's just get right to it. I want to ask you something point blank. Are you in love with your screenplay? I mean, really, truly, head over heels in love with it? It sounds like a simple question, right? But trust me, your answer tells us everything about where you are on your creative journey.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Phase 1, the immersion of first creation. Oh man, this is that intoxicating feeling of building a brand new world.
And listen, if you're a first-time writer, that feeling is 1,000 times more powerful. You're seeing your characters actually speak. You're watching your world literally take shape on the page. It's pure magic. And it makes perfect sense that you get deeply, deeply attached to your work. I mean, how could you not? And hey, that's a good thing. Oh, at first, anyway.
But this is where things can get a little tricky. We have to be careful, because that beautiful, powerful passion, it can turn into something we call the writer's dangerous illusion. It's that moment when your love for your work starts to feel, well, less like a passion and more like a trap. So let's break this down because it's super important. There's a huge difference between immersion and being buried. Immersion, that's healthy. It's that deep focus you need to create, but it's a slippery slope. You can easily slide into being buried, where you're so deep in your own story that you can't see the light of day. Your perspective just vanishes and you shut everyone else out.
And when you're in that state, when you're totally buried, man, the consequences are real. Your vision just shrinks down to this tiny little pinprick. You literally can't listen to advice anymore. Someone could give you $1 million note and it would just sound like static. And this is the breeding ground for that dangerous illusion we were talking about.
And here's the core of that illusion. You start to believe that you're just on another level, that you're smarter than your peers, smarter than your mentors, and yep, definitely smarter than the audience. Now look, a lot of writers go through this phase. It's kind of normal, but it is a trap. And if you're not careful, you can get stuck in that mindset for years.
So the big question is, how do you climb out of that hole? Well, you have to face a pretty humbling truth. Which brings us to part 3, the audience as an absolute. This is where we get real about how storytelling actually works.
In this whole crazy world of storytelling, movies, TV, you name it, there's one fact. Just one. And it stands above everything else. It's simple, it's clear, and you absolutely cannot argue with it. And here it is. The audience always has more power, more ability than any single writer. Always. Think about it. Their collective brain power, their collective taste. They have the power to decide what lives and what dies. They can change the entire market literally overnight. Here's a great way to think about it. For a startup, what's the golden rule? The customer is always right. The market is everything. Well, guess what? For a screenwriter, it is exactly the same. The audience and the market they create, that's your whole world. Your script isn't some piece of art that exists in a vacuum, It's for them.
So let's just be blunt about it. A writer just can't surpass the audience. Not really. You can't outsmart them. You can't outfeel them. In any real way, they have the upper hand. I know, that can be a really tough pill to swallow. But accepting that fact, that's the secret key to unlocking your real power as a writer.
And that brings us to our last section. And honestly, this is my favorite part. Section 4 is called The Only Weapon. Because now we're done talking about what you can't do. It's time to talk about your unique superpower. Okay, so let's think this through. If the audience is superior in pretty much every way, what's left for the writer? I mean, what do we have? What can we possibly bring to the table that they don't already have? The answer is actually pretty amazing. Turns out there is one thing, one single area where you, the writer, can absolutely surpass the audience. One thing that belongs only to you. And that one thing is desperation. Now hang on, I don't mean hopelessness, not at all. In this case, desperation is about that deep, earnest, almost gut-wrenching passion for your story. It's that feeling deep in your bones that this story has to be told, and you're the only person on earth who can do it. Think about it. Nobody in that audience will ever be as desperate for your story to exist as you are. That's your weapon.
So what's the game plan? It's actually a simple 2-step process. Step 1, accept reality. Just acknowledge that the audience has the power. Be humble about it. And step 2,
Focus on your weapon. Focus on that desperation. Channel all of that unique, incredible passion into the story that only you can tell. That is how you make something that connects. That's how you finally break through.
So I'm going to leave you with one final question. It's not about how clever your plot twists are or if your dialogue is perfect. The real question, the one that matters, is this. How desperate is your story? How badly does it need to be told? Because the answer to that question, well, that's where you'll find your true voice.